Hey, Tony Gaskins here. It was brought to my attention by the former NBA player by the name of Dwight Howard, who is being accused of some very serious allegations from another man. And the article that I read, the man is saying that the said basketball player had him come over to the house and they were kissing consensually, and then said basketball player pulled down the other guy's pants and began to give him fellatio. I think that's what the oral is called. And then the guy said the basketball player stopped when he realized that the guy wasn't being turned on. And this was after he said the basketball player, Dwight Howard, had another man come in the room who was dressed like a woman and named Kitty. And Kitty came in and put on a pornographic film and then began to give the basketball player, Dwight Howard, oral. And then from there, the man claims that Dwight Howard was rubbing on his leg and his meat leg, which is a man's third leg, is what I call a meat leg, rubbing on the man's meat leg through his shorts. And then the man says that he said he shook his head no. And we don't know if that was this kind of no. And then he said no. And then he said that the basketball player, Dwight Howard, told him, I'm gonna do whatever and you gonna like it. So that's when he say Dwight Howard stood up, got Kitty off of him and stood up in front of the man and grabbed the man's shorts, grabbed his thighs and shorts, and pulled his shorts down and went to fellatio in them. Y'all have to be given, because I have my stomach, I got a real weak stomach. So anytime I hear words or say words, I see everything in my head, and I'm driving. I'm trying to stay coherent. And so the man says that Dwight Howard was giving him fellatio, and the fellatio did not turn him on, he say. Like it wasn't doing nothing for him. So he say then Dwight Howard stopped giving him fellatio, and the report read that he said he was instructed to go to Dwight's bed. And then the way that I read it, and this was on radaronline.com, the way that I read it was, it sounded like the man said when they went to the bed, Kitty, which is a man dressed as a woman, went to power stroking, long stroking Dwight Howard in the rectum. And that while he was doing that, it say that the man say Dwight took and shoved his private part in his mouth. Now, I have to read it again where it's saying, whether it's talking about the white private part in the man mouth or the man private part in the white mouth. And the man say after they were done, he put his clothes on and called an Uber. But he say that the former NBA player, Dwight Howard, insisted that Kitty drive him home. Now, the article said at the beginning when the man was going over there, Dwight asked him, did he want to have a threesome with a dude or a girl? And he said, he told Dwight Howard he didn't want to have a threesome. So now, we don't know what's all true and what's not. But I'm going to tell you something like this right here. For this to be a lie, you got to have a lot of nerve. You got to have a lot of gusto, bravado, not your knees know to tell a lie like this. To tell a lie with this kind of detail, if this man lied, he need to start writing erotic fiction for that community. Cause when I try to tell you this thing, almost had me throwing up in my mouth. I mean, the report was so visual. I was like, my goodness, wait. Listen, I'm gonna stop shaking men's hands. Bruh, don't even talk around me, cause I don't know what kind of stuff coming out your mouth. Just the stuff floating on your breath, getting on me. Man, look here. Now, if you don't know who this NBA player is, this young man is 6'10". So now, at 6'10", you're gonna have shoulders. And so me personally, I just did not think that men who is that tall get into that kind of activities. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I just thought that was just men that was certain heights and weights. But I have been seeing men 300 to 400 pounds switching their hips. And it has just been very disturbing to see where the state of men is. And because the man say he shot a DM to the former NBA player. He say he sent a DM. He say that's how he got his attention. So the former NBA player, the article say he has 5 children by 5 different women. So to be able to get picked up by another man in the DM says a lot. But see, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Now, this story could be fiction. It could be fiction. That's why I try not to pass judgment, even with the Carla Russell situation. Y'all sending me more and more videos about her, and that they trying to say it's clearly evident she faked this, and she could have faked it. Don't nobody know but me and God, but her and God. So I try not to pass judgment when I don't have all the facts. So just like with this situation here, the warning stands, even though we don't know whether all this is true or not. Because one thing I done realized about men who like men is the majority of them that I see online and the majority of them that I done seen in person, they like to get messy. They like to get messy. And so you just don't really know what's all fact, what's all fiction. Because to be able to deal with another man in this here society, to be a man and to be able to sleep with another man, your mind has gone somewhere because you are overcoming like the hate, the ostracization, which if this your first time watching video, I make up words and you just have to infer, read between the lines. That's what infer means, to know what the word means. The ostracization, the alienation, you have to be able to overcome all that. So you already got something going on mentally to be able to endure all of that right there. So at that point, I just don't know how much that I'll be believing from the individuals. So let's say it's all real. If it's all real, some women will meet this man, the former NBA player, and assume that he 100% heterosexual because of all the muscles, because of the height, because of the physique. It just, humanly, you just would think ain't nowhere in the world this man getting power drove in the behind, or he doing this to somebody else. Just as on the human side of you, just gonna assume that. But we seeing differently. And so here's the thing. The warning of this right here is to every lady that watch this. Take your time. Take your time. I'm gonna tell you what you got to do with this. When you meet a man, especially if you meet him in Atlanta, because the man say this happened in Atlanta. And so I don't live in Atlanta, and unless I'm getting paid millions of dollars to be on radio or be on television, I'll never live in Atlanta for that very reason. Because it is too many spirits going on in Atlanta. And I'd have been walking through the mall in Atlanta and men, and I just was like, whoa, these men his sipping like I'm a piece of meat. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then the men got on heels. I said, oh, this too much for me. No, it's like for one, okay, if that's your lifestyle, that's your lifestyle. All right, live your lifestyle. Don't bring me in it though. Don't be here sipping at me. If you don't see me give you no kind of sign, if I ain't over there sitting up on the wall, if you don't hear me, girl, if you don't hear me, hey, boy, don't be here sipping at me. And so that's how they get to doing, and they getting bold. They getting bold. A man sent me a DM. A man sent me a DM, and the DM said, the man say, what the stuff he wrote in that DM, I had to call my daddy. I say, Daddy, let me tell you what this man just wrote me. I say, nah, everything in me, I feel like writing this man back to threaten his life for trying me like this. My daddy say, son, don't even write back. He say, cause you write back might turn them on. He say, you writing back you might be like a squirming fish. He said, don't even write back. He said, don't even entertain it. He said, don't say nothing. Just take it. I say, man, so this how women be feeling. Cause, you know, I used to be one of them guys that just say crazy stuff to a woman. I'm like, man, that's disrespectful. I'm like, so this how women be feeling. When we used to be, you know, just saying something crazy. Hey, girl, let me, I'm like, oh my goodness, this how they felt. And it just really helped me understand how disrespectful men be. And so I'm like, man, that's man to a woman. But now I'm realizing that it's some men who like that, who are disrespectful like that, nasty like that, forward like that. So for the man to come out here and put all that out there, I think if it's true, he had to put them details to really show that you got to be a Pulitzer Prize winning writer, erotic fiction writer, to write all this right here now, all these details, because he got Kitty coming in the room in a dress. I mean, dressed like a woman. So he got all kind of details. And then these blogs and stuff, they have to be careful with what they post, because they could get sued for defamation. And one thing about the gentleman, the ex-NBA player, the former NBA player, he definitely got enough money to sue whoever he want to sue. And so you have to be careful about what is said about people with money. The same way we have seen celebrities sue bloggers and things of that nature, and sue Instagram accounts and magazines and all of that. We've seen that happen because we see that money and that character, that defamation of character. And so we seeing this right here play out. And what it said to me is, for one, if you're a woman, you got to take your time getting to know a man. And what I'm telling you, what you're going to have to do is, what you're going to have to do when you meet a man, you're going to have to talk to him on the phone several times. 10 hours, 10 hour long, 1 hour long conversations. 10, 15, 20 hours. You're going to have to go out on dates in public. And then you're going to have to get the man picture. If he send you a video like this right here talking to you, send that picture to your brother. If you ain't got no brother, when you sign up for a session with me, send me a picture of him and send it to, if your daddy, brother, male cousin. The thing about it is, though, is the thing with this is a lot of women discretion is off. So you can send it to your male cousin, and your male cousin might like men, and you don't even know it. So, but you got to get you what you feel like is 100% heterosexual man and get his opinion on it. Because the reason why you have to be so diligent today is because these men are hiding in plain sight. And what upset me about it is they taking, because see, this, the way this work is, for one, men don't like showering. So these men, let's say the man who is telling on the ex-NBA player, let's say he got a girlfriend. What if he got a girlfriend? What if he got a wife? Because he said in there that, and they had screenshots of the text messages, that the basketball player told him that he's not gay, that he just get a little nasty sometime, or he just a little freaky sometime. Listen, if a man do anything sexual with another man, he is gay. There is no such thing as a bisexual man. There's no, it's such thing, meaning that he deal with women and he deal with men. So technically, he's saying he's bisexual, but if a man deal with a man, he is a gay man, a homosexual man. And homosexual and gay are not cuss words, so y'all stay out your feeling now. But he is a homosexual man. And this man, if he hiding in that closet, I'm going to tell you, he had taken that, what I call a dookie stick. He is taking that dookie stick out of that man, and he is coming home, and he still turned on. He still riled up for being with his man. He going home, and he putting that in his woman. If you as a woman, and you got a boyfriend or a husband, and you have unprotected sex with him, and you keep coming up with urinary tract infections, and you are confused, And you sitting there and you really confused, like, man, why this thing keep burning and itching? My goodness. And you sitting there and you like, man, there ain't been no thought in a long time. Like, man, I've been serving the Lord, doing the right thing. Why I keep itching and burning and I keep having to get this Monostat and this Vagisil. Like, what is going on? Listen, if you have an unprotected set, your man might be putting a dookie stick in you. Listen to what I'm telling you now. Listen what I'm telling you. We got a lot of feces, meat leg men that is walking around out here today. And they got cologne on, so you think they done took a shower, and these men is infested with feces. So I'm gonna tell y'all ladies, this is another thing. That's why y'all have to stop sleeping around. Because these men that is coming out of this booty hole is carrying several diseases. And they coming and depositing spiritually transmitted diseases and sexually transmitted diseases into you. But see, this is the thing. Fornication is a sin. So anything we catch from fornicating, we deserve. Because fornication is a sin, and the wages of sin is death. So you can't even get mad if you die. Don't wake up mad with the Lord if you died from sin. And this is what we have to realize in this day and age. It's getting darker. Because if a man who is 6'10", and I just spoke about this, I didn't know about this. I didn't know this. Somebody sent me the screenshots of the text messages. But when I spoke about this young man, this former NBA player, Dwight Howard, on my video, I was talking about another man that came out a few years ago from Atlanta. He came out on Twitter and it was trending, and he was putting it out there because he was saying he's receiving death threats from the Dwight Howard team, from his security guard and manager. This person and that person is sending him death threats because he coming out and telling that he was he released a voicemail of him and Dwight Howard. And so I was on Twitter and I seen that trending. And I'm like, whoa, now hold on. What the world going on? And I remember Googling the Dwight Howard name. And it said he was on the Washington Wizards, and it said he was injured with a sore rectum, a sore tailbone. So I said, oh man, this is not good timing. This is not good timing. How are you out with a sore tailbone? And this man, this gay man is coming out with these here voicemails and these here allegations. And guess what? It looked like this stuff was released because the man who the man was referring to himself as a cisgender, which I don't know what that is, but he was referring himself to a cisgender and referring to himself as a sissy, I think. And I'm guessing that might come from cisgender, but I just wouldn't think the people who made up the word sissy know what a cisgender is, because I don't know what that is. And so this is what the man was talking about by himself. But the voicemail that he played on Twitter, he was going off on Mr. Howard. Let me not call that man Mr. Howard. The activity he got going on. He was going off on the former NBA player, and he, to my recollection now, because this was a few years ago, I listened to the voicemail, because now one thing about me now, when it's a little tea come across my table, I'm finna learn about it now. Now, to the best of my knowledge, from what I can remember, and y'all forgive me if I'm wrong, you might have to Google and hear the voicemail if it's still out there. He might have got it took down. But he was saying on there, Dwight, you told me you want to be F'd in the A and you want to suck some D. Why did you go over there to the such and such brothel or to the party with them such and such derogatory word? That's kind of what I heard. And why did you cheat on me? It was something like that. And then you had what was said to be the Dwight Howard voice was, calm down. I didn't cheat on you. I ain't cheat on you. Calm down. And I said, now that's real risky now. Because see, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. A lot of times people be talking about these people be lying. Listen, if they be lying, they'll be lying on all us. Because it's easy to find a lie. Because the internet detectives immediately, it was a lot of internet detectives that immediately said this Carlee Russell thing ain't adding up. So it's hard to tell a lie and get away with it. Like when we see a lie, our antennas go right up. So with what these men coming out with on these men, and I'm gonna tell you, it's a lot of talk right now. It's a lot of talk that they doing the same kind of talk about P. Diddy. I just read a headline the other day where they say 50 Cent said it is disgusting that P. Diddy is trying to groom Lil Baby. And it's just so many headlines about P. Diddy. And now for the longest, I looked at him as a heterosexual male, but now since all of these rumors coming out, I'm starting to see him a little differently. But what it's saying to me is, here's another man with a bunch of kids. Here's another man with multiple kids. So what it's saying to me is if any of this stuff true that people are saying about these men have at some point or another put a dookie stick into a woman unprotected. And so now also I'm seeing women who, because of this stuff is coming out, it is women who reaching out to me and letting me know they found their boyfriend videos in his phone of him with other men. So this thing right here, it's probably always been around, down low, brother. I didn't learn about it until I got to college, when I got a message on Black Planet from a man that said he's a DL brother, and asked me if I was. And I asked my girlfriend, I said, hey, this guy just wrote me a message, say he a DL brother, and am I one? I said, what is that? Because I played football in college, so I'm like, okay, he a defensive lineman. And I'm like, okay, what? In my head, before I asked the question, I said, okay, he a D lineman. I'm like, he look a little slim to be a D lineman. So then I asked her, I said, hey, he said he a DL brother. What is that? She said, that means down low brother. I said, what's a down low brother? She said, that means that he like men, but he can't come out and say it. Like he hiding. I don't know if Ronald Isley was in that closet at that point or not, because this probably was 2003, 2004. I don't know if Ronald Isley and Robert Kelly hadn't came out of that closet yet. But this here has been around, as we know. And it's been around since the beginning of time. Because that's what Sodom and Gomorrah got burnt down by. And y'all remember the men in the Bible who somebody was at the man's house, whose house they was at. Y'all know, put it in the comments. Put the scripture reference in there. Well, it was a man at another man's house, and the men of the town came to the door and were knocking on the door and say, hey, bring the men out your house so we could have sex with them. And it was men. This in the Bible. So this here knocking the lining out of another man behind, it's been out there. But now it's cranking up. It's cranking up. and it does not have a face to it. It ain't got no face to it. And I'm gonna tell you something now. The largest sexual organ is the brain. So what we also have today, what I'm noticing is we got a lot of men who may not be sexually active with men, but they still infatuated by men. They still in love with men. And so they just like to spend a lot of time with other men. They like to be around other men and lusting after those men and be all buddy with those men. And I had to tell one of my mentees, because he says, I love you. He say, love you, bruh. And I had to tell him, I said, bruh, I don't play with that right there now. I say that to my daddy and to my sons. I said, bro, I don't play with that love you stuff, because although I don't think you like men, I just could never be sure what men out here like men. And it made me uncomfortable for a man to tell me he loved me and he don't really know me like that. And I really ain't did nothing to deserve no love. And then if it's the love of Christ, okay, he still could keep that between him and Christ and let the Lord know he loved me. But I really don't, I really don't need to know. Like, I'm gonna be okay. Like, it's not gonna help me sleep better, not gonna make me feel better. Like, I'm all right. I'm all right. Like, you ain't got to tell me you love me. I want my son to say I love you. I want my daddy to say I love you. Outside of that, I really don't need to know about a man's love toward me and for me. And so, just point blank pure odd. But that's right there. I'm seeing a lot of guys night men. A lot of guys trip men. A lot of it's too many guys nights going on. So I'm gonna tell you like this right here, lady. If your man have to have a guys night, if your husband gotta have a guys night every week, I'm led to believe it's either another man or it's another woman. He could be calling it guys night and knocking him down another woman. But if it's actually guys night, my antenna gonna start to go up. Cause listen to me, I'm trying to tell you, like, now I'm about to get to the point where now I see y'all men. Cause the man said that the ex-NBA player was stroking, rubbing on his meat leg through his shorts. I'm about to, now when I start to see men, I'm about to, hold on, brother. Actually, I'm finna be a virtual. Hey, let's get old virtual Al doubt. Hey, what up? We going back to this. Hold up. We going back to that, man. Cause I'm like, man, it's just too hard to tell now. So I'm telling y'all ladies, tread lightly, move slowly. If the man pass your little test, if you pass your test and you feel like, okay, I really feel like this man is in the women. All the way he in the women, he not finna be sleeping with no man or getting slept with. He passed that test right there. Still, take you another 3-6 months before you get intimate now. Take your time now. Don't rush. Now see, and I'm gonna tell you like this right here. Y'all, it's a video going viral of, it could have been a skit, but it looked real because it'd be too much production. Unless it's from a movie off of Tubi. It definitely would be a movie off Tubi because the budget did look too big of a budget like a real movie. But the lady, the caption up there say she found out who he really was after she married him. And they at their wedding, she got on her wedding dress and he dancing like a stripper on her. When I tell you that man was so erotic in that dance, she was embarrassed. Everybody stopping, they looking, they staring, they like, ooh, that ain't got no masculinity in it. That dance is not no masculinity in that. And so this thing is becoming a thing now. And that was a Hispanic. Looked like a Hispanic or a white. And so it's all black, white, Hispanic, Asian. And I'm gonna tell you, I be sensing stuff. I be sensing stuff now. And I be sensing stuff on some of these men, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why I'm talking about it, because as a man, I done had men around me who I found out later that they was into men. And then I start to replay every interaction. I said, oh, that's what that was. That's what that text message was. That's what that hug was. That's what that handshake was. It start to hit you like, oh my goodness, I was being groomed. You get hit, you like, oh my goodness, I was being groomed. Lord, I thank you. Because see, the thing about it is, it just, see, men know men. So I never had a man try me in person. See, online, they just see my face. They see my face and they make a judgment. I remember I met a young lady one time at my homeboy house, early 20s. And we at my homeboy house, he was making music and she was over there at the house. She said, yeah, I seen you. I seen you on Facebook. I thought you were gay. I said, what? What in the world made you think that? She said, because your eyebrows were arched. My doggone roommate in college, he was from New York. He was black. From Africa now, but wanted to be Hispanic. So I let him cut my hair. He cut hair. He took off this here piece of my eyebrow. He took off that inside of that eyebrow. Talking about, yeah, man, this is what we doing NY. What we doing NY, B. Calm down, son. What we doing NY, son? How you looking such and such, son? I don't know what word he used. So I get up. But the thing about it is that you can't have no arch eyebrow if your eye color is not dark brown now. I'm like, yeah, these Hispanic men got their eyebrows real crisp, but their eyes is dark brown. Yeah, bro, right now my eyes is not dark brown right now. So this don't go together. But it started to grow back in. I started to look like a werewolf. So I still was trying to get it like trimmed up so I ain't look crazy. Went to this lady, tried to get the little excess, because sometimes my cousins who was from Florida, just the hood that they want to be, they would mess with my eyebrow because I got real bushy eyebrow. So they would mess with my eyebrow too and try to trim off that or trim off that. So I had to start letting people know, and I had to go ahead and say, okay, I'm gonna just have to let the grow out process go. I'm gonna have to look crazy, because I was looking for a woman. I'm out there moving, so I ain't want to be looking crazy, and then I ain't want to let it too much grow back, because then it tell like, oh, somebody trimming your eyebrow. So the lady said that to me. She said, I thought you were gay. I was like, what the world? I was so offended. It was like in my head I had cussed out, but I ain't cussed. So I realized that men know men, because a man ain't never tried me in person, but I done received messages online. Because when a man get around you, he know your energy. He know your energy. He know how you get down, because I'm trying to tell you now, some of these men that done got exposed and that done come out the closet. I done been around some of these men. I done worked with some of these men, work in the vicinity of some of these men. I done talked with some of these men, and they ain't never tried me. So the thing about it is, I'm gonna tell you what, I think that a lot of guys, they could tell. They could tell who is in that closet and who not. And I'm gonna tell you something. Y'all gotta forgive me, because this AC blowing in my face, so it kind of take my voice sometimes, and then it drying my eyes out. I'm gonna tell you something now. You have to be careful. And listen to me. If anybody, because sometimes a woman could tell, if your mama, if your sister, if your cousin, if somebody come to you and say, I don't know how to say this, and they might lie and put it on somebody else, but such and such said that your boyfriend is a little too feminine. Have you ever felt that? And you know what? Deep down, women be knowing. Because I done coached women, and they done sent me a picture of their boyfriend. Say, Tony, can you give me a read on him? Like, what do you see on this person? What do you see on us as a couple? And I say to her, I said, listen, I said, listen, the way he holding his hand, the way he's standing, the way he, and they be like, oh my goodness, I knew it, I felt it. Oh my goodness, Tony. Oh my goodness, this confirmation. I knew it, and I did not want to believe it. You know, they don't be wanting to believe it because they be ready to get married. They be ready for a man. They be ready to get married. They ready to have kids. So that man comes switching the hips sometimes. It's just like what I tell you about that reel. With it look like a cute little couple. Both of them light skinned. That's all. That a lot of times that's a red flag for me, because a lot of times opposites attract. Because we grow up looking ourselves in the mirror. So a lot of times we don't want somebody who look just like us, because if we tired of looking at ourselves or we don't love ourselves, we'll look for our opposite. A lot of times people think that somebody is, that's why you see a lot of black women today with white men and Asian men, because they fed up with they men. And then a lot of black men get fed up with they women and they go get them a white woman or an Asian woman or whatever. But on the flip side of it, sometimes people don't love themselves, their complexion, so they go look, or they're attracted to another complexion, because a lot of times the grass look green on the other side and we wish we was something else. And so these women, that couple that I told y'all that's on the reel, where the lady always playing pranks on her husband, but the way that man be hollering, and the way that man be hollering, he a light-skinned man. I think he a chef. The way that man be hollering, nope, sister, I know you think you know him. I know you, yeah, I know you live with him. Yeah, I know all of that, but no, no, Might not have no physical boyfriend, but some of these men definitely is watching man with man on that phone. I'll tell you that now. So the reason why I'm doing this video is because I want women to be safe. I want you to be safe because it's breaking down our households. These men who are Decepticons, they breaking down our household because they getting a woman. They giving a woman HIV eventually, or syphilis or something else, genital warts. They giving a woman a STD. Then the woman get pregnant and she have a baby. The babies is coming out blind because it's coming through with an STD. Babies is coming out blind. Babies coming out missing limbs. Babies is coming out with different issues because this man is sleeping with men and carrying diseases that don't even show symptoms in his body, or he might not even really, it might not be affecting him, and he may even go get on medication and then give it to his woman because he's so deathly afraid to tell her that he really want him a man. And this is happening by the thousands now, and it's gonna be into the hundreds of thousands if it's not already into the hundreds of thousands, and then it's gonna be into the millions. And the reason why, I'm gonna tell you the sole reason, it ain't born that way. They are being raised that way. And what I mean by being raised that way is these men are spending too much time just around women. And the other thing is they too much time alone, and some of them are being touched. And then the other thing is they too into pornography, and their lust path is taking them down this endless road of chasing and pursuing lust that they get to a place where they want to continue to explore. So the same thing like this gentleman who they say have 5 kids, 5 different women, that's a lot of sleeping around. And just like what I tell y'all is lust cannot be quenched. It has to be starved. You got to starve lust to death when you're trying to get over it, when you're trying to get past it. If you feed it, it's going to want more and more and more and more. And then the normal is going to become boring. So that's why he told that man, that's why the boy say that he told him that he's not gay, he just get nasty sometime. What is that? That is supersized lust. That is lust that done got out of bounds. That is lust that is uncontrollable to the point that Kitty coming in the room, a man dressed as a woman, coming right in the room and getting right to the do. Getting right to putting the nasty stuff on TV. Getting right on his knees. Then all that right there just boom. That's lust out of control. So that's why I tell y'all, and see, I'm going to tell you something. But y'all ladies that think y'all getting cool points by sending your man to the strip club, letting your man go to the strip club, you are feeding lust. You feeding a monster. Your man going to end up getting bent over because he going to sleep with all of them strippers. You can't tell no man what to do. So you can't send no man just like Keisha Cole. She was okay with her ex-husband, Boobie Gibson, going to the strip club. He cheated on her with a stripper. And they went through a divorce. You can't introduce no man to no candy and tell him don't get no sweet tooth. If you sending a man into a pit of lust and you reinforcing that lust, if a man want to be with you, you got to tell that man ain't no porn, ain't no strip clubs, ain't even no masturbation. He's still going to sneak and do some stuff, but you can't condone none of it. If he want to sneak and do it, that's between him and God. He got the answer. But if you condone it, it's going to come back and hurt you. Every woman on the sound of my voice, I'm telling you, if you condone it, you are shooting yourself in the foot. You are cutting off your nose to spite your face. I'm telling you, you are fishing for your own disease. When you with a man that go to the strip club, you're going to have a disease. If you already got one and it's the worst that you can get, and you say, well, Tony, what the heck? I already got it. It's the worst it could get. Okay, you grown. I can't tell you what to do. But I'm going to tell you right here, if you don't have now, and you don't want now, you better shut down every form of lust. The only lust that a man need to be lusting is over you. He need to be lusting over you. And whatever that mean, if that mean going to bed every night in sun scantily clad, then you do what you want to do so that man can lust on you. But if you got this man, he doing all these guys nights, he doing all these bachelor parties, he doing all these strip club, he doing the pornography, he gonna end up messing with a man. And I'm gonna tell you, there are everyday men. There are macho men, alpha males that so y'all would call them. There are so-called alpha males that are dealing with men because their lust has gotten out of control because of what they watching, what they doing, where they going, who they hang around. And I'm gonna tell you something. Spirits know spirits. Spirits know spirits. And there's certain things about the physical. Certain things about the physical. That's just how you see, when you see a man who claims to be heterosexual, but his best friend or his close friend is gay, or his assistant, or somebody who right there finna be up under him all the time, that man ain't heterosexual. That man ain't heterosexual. That man bisexual at the least. And that's why you see a lot of these men who have these guys who are outwardly and openly gay men around them. That's why you see a lot of these men, the quote unquote straight men that they be around. That's why a lot of them straight men don't be married, cause they be dipping that stick. That's why a lot of them don't be married. That's why most of them don't be married. This is what I'm telling you now, because spirits know spirits. If your spirit ain't on something, you're not gonna want to be around it. So it's like this right here. It's like this right here. Yeah. That's why you see women with a gay best friend, a gay male best friend, and that's why you'll see that gay man hanging with women or other gay men, because he don't feel welcome around heterosexual men who are truly heterosexual. He don't feel welcome. He don't feel embraced. He don't feel like one of the boys. But his spirit feel more feminine, so he hang with the women. And women just, I do not know. Women just don't be caring. It's just another person to talk to, and some women could trick themselves to believe that they have a masculine energy, and they just having a man around them. And just because the men like men don't mean that they dumb, or don't mean that they ain't got no wisdom, or don't mean that they can't understand life, or they don't understand straight men. So these women will keep these gay men around them because they getting game by the guys that they dating. And then certain guys, they'll see they woman with a gay man, and they'll be like, all right, okay, it's cool, it's whatever. But at the same time, that man still have a dangling. And just because he a so-called gay man don't mean he won't sleep with no woman. It don't mean, it ain't like he gonna throw up if he got to sleep with a woman. And don't mean that him and your woman ain't gonna be kissing. So me personally, my wife ain't finna be round no man, period. Gay or straight. Not finna be close buddy hanging out with no man, period. And then my wife not finna have no gay male friend, because if he likes male booty, that means it's a possibility he could want me. And then I'm not falling for the, oh, don't think that every that just cause gay people gonna like every man, that ain't how that work. No, hush. I know how lust work. I know how the human mind work. And I know if it's possible. So go get out the way. Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And you have to have your boundaries, because spirits know spirits. And so if you're not with something, if that ain't how you moving, you can't get shamed into moving that way just because of all this. Yeah, I accept you. I love you with the love of Christ. But guess what? Love everybody. But just because I love everybody don't mean I got to hang with everybody. Don't mean I got to be around everybody. Don't mean I got to be into what everybody into. I still can have boundaries. Even though I love you. Love me, I don't hate you. Love me that if I see you in need, I'm going to help you out. If I see you going through, I'm going to help you out. I don't have no hate. But I'm not finna be around and be indulging and be all that. No, we ain't gonna be able to do it. We ain't gonna be able to do it. We ain't gonna be able to do it. And so what I'm trying to tell y'all ladies is, today, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. And I'm gonna tell you something now. I'm gonna tell you something. See, I'm gonna have to start going behind my paywall because you can't say everything publicly online. So I'm doing these classes. They only $25, but on these classes, I'm gonna be a little more real with you on the class because you can't say everything out here because you got to remember, like, I'm still a speaker. I'm still a professional speaker. So some of these brands and stuff, they come. What the hell he talk about? But see, my thing, the reason why I do what I do is because I'm trying to protect people. I'm trying to protect the hearts and the minds, and I'm trying to preserve our life. I'm trying to drive people to Christ. And so with that, I have to be real. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you got a man and the thing he loved the most is sodomy, I'm gonna tell you, as a heterosexual man, the thing that a heterosexual man want to be in with a woman is in the front. Tell you that right now. So when you got your man and he like to all the time, and that's all he worried about. And mind you now, as a woman, you like, man, listen, you might be like, man, that thing, that hurt, or that ain't comfortable, I don't get nothing out of that. Like, what's going on? So he also don't care about your comfort. He also don't care about, what you feeling, all that. Listen, you got to look within. You're going to have to look a little deeper. You know what I'm trying to tell you? Because it's getting bad out here. It's getting bad out here. It's getting bad out here. And see, this is my thing right here. It ain't me hating or being against these men who like men. My main thing is be honest. Be open. Be transparent. If that's the life you want to live and God in the Holy Bible is against it, and you don't care, and you want to live that life, even though the Bible speak against it, then that's between you and God. That's between you and God. And I'm not God. I can't judge you. Between you and God. But listen, you have a right as a woman and or a man that if that's not how you live, if that's not what you believe in, if that's not what you think is right, you don't have to condone it. You don't have to condone it, and you don't have to be around it. But that don't mean that you hating or that you discriminating. It's just you saying, listen, this is not my lifestyle. No different than if somebody smoke and you don't smoke. You don't want to be around them because they smoking. If somebody drink and you don't drink, you don't want to be around them because all they do is drink. If somebody curse and you don't curse, you don't want to be around them because all they do is curse. So if somebody is diving into booty and you don't do that, you're not going to want to be around that. Point blank period. And I think some of the times people in certain community, they go to feeling like and thinking that somebody is hating them and discriminating and all of that. It's just like, no. The same way you don't want to be around certain people and certain things because of what they do or what they into, it's the same thing. You might not hate them. You don't wish no bad on them, but you like, listen, they into this. I'm not into that. I'm not going to be able to. Point blank period. And you can love your brethren from a distance. Love your sister from a distance. And we can't be ashamed about our preferences and how we feel and what we want. Because I'm going to tell you like this right here. I'm not even going to have a lesbian woman friend and pass that by my wife, because I know it's human nature that if she's sitting over at the house and her and my wife kikiing, she could start to fall for my wife, because if she into women, then that means she could be into my wife. So I'm not going to entertain that. And guess what? That happened to a man. He brought a woman in. He talked to his woman. He got his woman to be okay with a threesome. He brought another lady in. Them two ladies the lady end up leaving him for that woman that he brought in to their life. I'm gonna tell you, man. Spirit, no spirits, man. This thing is real. This thing is real, and I'm gonna tell you, they gonna cancel me publicly, but they can't cancel me from God, because God got me, and I have to speak the truth. I gotta tell the truth. Like, if I can't speak at nobody event, if I can't speak at nowhere, because somebody misconstruing my message and saying that, oh, I'm hating, or oh, I'm discriminating, and they take me saying that, hey, you have a right to have preferences, and you have a right to have a choice, and you have a right, just like everybody got a right, you got a right. So if you say, listen, I do not want to be with no man who like men, if he telling me that he like women, that's your right. That's your right. If you a woman and you say, I don't feel comfortable kikiing and laughing and hanging out with a woman who like women, because what if that communication and that conversation, what if that make her fall for me? That's your right. It's just like if you got a daughter or a son, and it's somebody who is older than them, or somebody who could like prey on them. It's kind of like, you may say like, listen, okay, like, you may say, listen, I don't have anything against this man. I don't have anything against your father. Let's say you talking to your spouse. You say, listen, I don't have nothing against your father, but at the end of the day, he is a man, and we got a daughter, and I don't want to leave her with nobody, male or female, too long. It's too much that goes on. It's too much that goes on. And with a lot of people, it was their grandfather or somebody else's grandfather, or it was a stepdad or a stepmom or a cousin or second cousin, third cousin. It was somebody who came over to the house. So you're not hating on these people. You're not asking that these people be judged or that they be accused, but you creating boundaries to be safe so that you don't have to be sorry. Because you saying just like this right here, listen to me. You telling who you telling, listen to me. I will rather be safe than to be sorry. Because guess what? It happens every day and all day that somebody who is attracted to this gender, male or female, get beside themselves, and for whatever reason that's going on in their head, they make a move. And if this family member or this person make a move on my child, they going to the grave and I'm going to prison. If you know where you at with it, then you best to be safe than sorry. And that's your right. And people gonna get mad at you, and people gonna say, oh, you wrong, and you too protective, and you doing too much, and my granddad ain't gonna touch your daughter, and who you think you is. Listen, I understand that, and he may not, but guess what? My daughter ain't gonna be riding there to find out. My daughter ain't gonna be riding there to find out. Just like with my sons can't do sleepovers. And if they at somebody's house, they ain't gonna be there too long. Not because at nighttime stuff get to going. Stuff get to going in the daytime. And before my son go over there, even my 9-year-old son, this good touch, this bad touch. I had to tell my son young, because he had a little guy friend at school that liked to hug and kiss. I say, son, don't you ever in your life. I say, don't you ever in your life. It's one man, one boy that could kiss you, man or boy, and that's me. I say, that me and your brother. I say, don't you ever let a boy kiss you. I say, I don't want girls kissing you either. You was too young. Should nobody be kissing you but your mama and daddy. I told my son that, because a lot of times kids don't be knowing. And see, this is the thing, what I try to tell you is, a lot of this stuff is being raised in people. It ain't about, oh, born this way, born that way. No, a lot of this stuff is being raised. It's being imprinted. It's being imprinted a lot of it is spiritual warfare, and then a lot of it is attention seeking and choosing from being alienated and ostracized, choosing something. And so if somebody say they was born that way, I'm not finna argue with you, because I'm not your creator. I'm not finna argue with you. That's between you and God. That's between you and God. I'm not finna argue with you. But at the same time, I am not going to deny the fact that I know that some people are being imprinted. Some people are being turned out. Some people are being manipulated, deceived, preyed upon on their loneliness, on their pain, on their trauma, on their hurt. Some people is being turned over to that because of what they have suffered. I'm not going to deny that fact, whether you was born that way or not. That's between you and your maker. But I ain't gonna deny the fact that some people today are choosing it for clout, for attention, and some for love, for companionship, for a relationship. I just seen a thing where the celebrity woman from Basketball Wives, it was look like her daughter introducing her girlfriend to her. Don't know why that happened, how that happened, if she felt like she was born that way or whatnot, but this is happening more and more. And my thing is, what I don't want to see, and what you have to be careful of, is the deception. Because I remember having a friend in high school, a woman, a girl who was into girls. And she was into girls because she hung around all boys. So her sister was very feminine, but she hung around all boys. So when we said, man, I want to hit that, man, this chick fine, man, that chick fine, she around us, and so she started to get in the conversation. Oh, that's fine. Oh, she fine. Oh, you want to hit that? Oh, okay. And then she started adapting. She started dressing like us, talking like us, walking like us. And then she started, man, I want to hit that. But she talking about girls. Well, one of her things that she liked to do was turn girls out. She liked to befriend them, laugh with them, kiki with them, talk with them. And the same way a man would get a woman into a vulnerable position and then make a move, is the same way a lot of lesbian women and a lot of homosexual men get their person who is not openly in that lifestyle in a vulnerable position and then make a move. This is humans operating under spiritual instruction. This is humans, and this is real. And we and every last adult on here know that this is the truth. Now, the people who doing it, that's who want to cancel you. The people who guilty of it. Oh, he doing this. You're guilty. Just like my grandma say, hit dog holler. Because even if a person is attracted to the same gender, they still know that what I'm saying be happening. They might not be doing it, but even if they not doing it, they ought to be mature enough to say, well, hey, he ain't lying. I do know somebody that pride themselves on so-called turning out straight people, turning straight people out, or getting straight people to break, to go that way, because, and they get with them when they done had a breakup and they boohoo crying and they hurting. And they depicting this on TV. I'm watching Cobra Kai, you know, from Karate Kid. I'm watching Cobra Kai right now, watching the series on Netflix, because I like Karate Kid. So after watching Karate Kid, my wife told me about the thing. I'm in season 2 or season 3, and I watch it at nighttime when I'm relaxing, and they got a girl on there who in high school. And some of these people be grown in real life, so I don't know if she grown in real life, but she in high school, and she had a boyfriend. She's one of the cool girls. One of the boys who they was picking on and calling a nerd, he got a cleft palate. He went and became cool. Got him a colored mohawk, became cool. He got with this young lady. She started to see he's a jerk. He went from being bullied to being a bully. So she said, I don't want to be with you no more. So next thing you know, they at a party. he tell his homeboy, you know how to get a woman back? Make her miss what she had. So he walk up to this young lady who done came in the party, and he spin game at her. Next thing you know, his ex-girlfriend come up to the young lady he talking to, and his ex-girlfriend kissed this girl in the mouth. This is a high school show, and they showing a high school girl go from a heterosexual relationship to a lesbian relationship. And not only do they show the lesbian relationship, they show these high school girls tongue kissing. So now imagine this girl in high school watching this, and no boys is liking her, no boys talking to her, no boys sending her letters, nobody asking her out to prom. And then she see this right here. She already see it at school, but she don't know them, she not influenced by them, she ain't cool with them, but then she watching this here show. And now she see these girls tongue kissing on this show. That's imprintation. That's imprinting. I made up imprintation, but that's imprintation too. That's imprinting. That's why I try to tell you. So at this moment, this person, because humans want connection, that's why people will go to prison and then end up dealing with their same sex, and they never did that before, because humans have the ability to adapt to their environment, to their struggle, to their situation. That's why good people do bad things. That's why goody two-shoes become thugs, because what they round, they gotta adapt. It's like, be a thug, join the gang, or I'm gonna get bullied and jumped every day. What up? Let's go. Hey, jump me in, I need protection. Same thing when you go to prison. Hey, jump me in, I need protection. Voila. So this is what I want y'all to understand. This ain't about discrimination. This ain't about hating. This is about discernment. This is about you having your boundaries. This is about you protecting yourself from situations or lifestyle that you might not want to be in. So if you don't want to be in a situation where you falling in love with somebody and this person is sleeping with somebody of the same sex, then you have to be mindful, and you got to be patient, and you got to keep your eyes open, and you got to pay attention. Hey, this is Tony Gaskin. God bless you. We're going to talk soon.